Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. I got a question for you. What opens with a salute to Maxine and what closes with flowers being hand-delivered to Max's front desk by an old friend? If you guess Daytime Divas episode 2, Coma Bump, then you're correct. Let's see how we got from opening to closing. So we have the show introduction for the lunch hour, and I wanted to get all their taglines, but I didn't. But I'm sure over the season I will. We see a pre-recorded piece saluting Maxine. We find out that the son is actually a nephew who was adopted. She is still running stuff off-site. Sonny Boy, the producer, is concerned about looking incompetent with all of the stuff she has him doing to undermine her colleagues. And Leon is getting lots of complaints on his incompetence. That's the PA that Miss Mo is having an affair with. Replacement names are being floated for Maxine, to kind of, they talk about Miss Tyra Banks and Caitlyn Jenner, and Miss Maxine is not worried worth a damn until they float Shelly, that's Michelle Obama. Then her behind gets up off the treadmill. She ain't in a coma no more. She gone. And then the next time we see her, they ain't even finished the segment. She in the studio audience talk about, what y'all so sad about? I'm alive. And she on that stage doing her job because she don't want to be replaced. She don't want any real competition up there. So Maxine is in the studio, on the set, on stage, and back in her chair before the scene is finished. Then we see Maxine, she asked Miss Kibby to come into her office, and Kibby is confiding in Maxine, I'm sorry about what happened. Maxine doesn't seem to remember her confession because she like, what you talking about, girl? You doing great, whatever. And Maxine really seems to be concerned about Maxine. And Maxine, once Kibby realizes what's going on and doesn't want to tell Maxine that she had confessed to her and she having a hard time, then Maxine is like, just sit in my office with me for 5 minutes because I want to make those other women sweat. They won't know what's going on in here. And then we see Sonny Boy, Sean. He's in the potty and he is confronted by Nina in the bathroom. He like, I come here to get some space. She like, this is the only place I can get you alone. And Sean is like, are you still in love with your hubby? You are a politician's wife. There will never be a good time to go on and break it off. I do love you and I will be patient, but we do need a plan. And then we see Kibby on the phone with her girlfriend, I think it is, and she's feeling really guilty about her relapse and about not telling Maxine what's going on. She goes into the office and she's happy to find her little sister there, but she's wondering why she's not in school. Her irresponsible mom has sent her sister to go to Kibby to get some money for the power bill. So then we see Jason, he's the network president or vice president, I guess, and Max in Max's office, and he wants to talk about strategy. He wants to build on the ratings boost, and Maxine basically dismisses him. So then we see Mo, and she's talking to Jason, I think, and she's like, Max is tired. She's not gonna let you know that she needs help, but let's all help her. And then we see a little later Max arriving to the office, and she is on the phone and she is raising hell. We see Mo about to light into Leon for a mess up because she sees the opportunity to mess up Maxine. So she switches some cards around, and there's a Justin Timberlake, who we all know of, who is an R&B singer, but they are interviewing a Dr. Justin Timberman. So she has cue cards for Timberlake. So she ends up looking real foolish up there, asking him. She trying to ask tough questions, but her stuff is not fitting. She don't have to write notes in front of her. So Sonny Boy says to Mo, fire Leon. He incompetent. He got my mom out there looking bad. He's the most incompetent intern we've had. And Mo is like, you fire him and I'm going to release your mother's medical truth. And then we see Sonny Boy and Mama Maxine, and they're talking, and the son is like, Ma, take a break. The network wants to take you down to 3 shows a week. You can relax, get a man. And Max is like, please, I know Leon is incompetent. I should have known better. I should have been on my P's and Q's. I'm not cutting down no days or nothing. And I'll get a man when you get a woman. Okay, so then we see Kibby in the office, and she hears some gagging. She goes next door, and the journalist, Nina, is sick, and she's throwing up, and she assumes she's bulimic. And then Kibby is like, Nina's like, no, I'm not bulimic. And Kibby is like, oh, right, you're normal. What, are you pregnant? And Nina's like, boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, I haven't told Andrew. Please keep my secret. Then we see Heather coming home. Her husband is mad. She thinks it's about the baby boy who's got a lot of enthusiasm about dresses that he's looking at. But she stood him up. That's why her husband is mad. She forgot their dinner plans. And the hubby is like, maybe with your show, your music, your fittings, your books, and your general obsession with you, it's hard to remember something like a stupid little dinner. And Heather is like, Black Nanny Aberline, take the children to go watch cartoons. And then she says to him, people at work are beginning to notice the bruises, so be careful. And I'm like, I guess they in the BDSM? Is that what's going on? Okay, so then we see Kibby, and she's at a restaurant. She's meeting with her mom. And her mom is like, you could have had me at your place. And Kibby is like, yeah, I could have if I wanted you to know where I live. So you seriously gonna keep my little sister Tandy out of school to come ask me for money? And mom is like, she's smart. I wouldn't have had to, but you threatened me with a restraining order when I asked. You think being a mom is easy. And Kibby is like, I done paid the bill since I was 12. Do better or I'll get custody. And the mom is like, you can't even take care of you. Your probation officer gonna help you take care of your sister. No court is gonna give somebody like you custody. And then we see Nina entering her husband's office. I don't know if it's his campaign office, but he's in campaign mode. And they seem very flirtatious and bonded. So I'm like, is she dealing with Sonny Boy solely to advance her career? And it's hubby Brown. I had missed that the first time around, I guess. So Nina, she says, you know, a pregnant wife is a campaign asset, and I found a sperm donor. And the husband, Andrew, was like, already? And I'm like, she didn't say this for real, but I'm like, yup. And we've already done the do, and I'm pregnant. Yay! But then her husband is like, well, tell me about Mr. Wonderful Donor. And she's like, I've done the research. He's tall. He's Ivy educated. That's the end of that scene. Then we see Kibby on a video call with her girlfriend. And she fussing about her mom and her sister. And her girlfriend is like, well, you know, your mom and your sister, she's smart. She'll be okay. Have a good workout with your friend. And Kibby is like, oh, she canceled. And the girlfriend is like, wait, where are you? And Kibby walks into the bedroom to find a man in bed with her girlfriend. What? I didn't see that coming. Okay, so then we're at the studio. We see a robe. Heather, she's in a robe, and she's, you know, looking at wardrobe and stuff. Oh, I love the coral. Da, 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 da. And Maxine notices a bruise on Heather's leg. And she's like, is that a tattoo? This is what Max says to her. Don't be going all goth on me. And then Heather almost storms into her office and closes the door. And then we see the ladies in hair and makeup. You know, everybody does that in a room together. There's a lot of tension. Leon and Mo come in with Leon's famous delicious lattes, I guess. And then the other intern, Ramona, comes in with a jug in her hand. And she's yelling, fraud! Fraud! You want to know why Leon's lattes are so good? He's probably using the extra time to jerk off. They are so good because he uses half and half. You might as well inject butter into the lady's veins. And then Max gets hot milk thrown on her. And then she has a mini run-in with Max, but it doesn't really turn anything. Then we see Nina and Sean at the office behind some stuff. And Sonny Boy Sean is like, what's up with the plan? I can't do this turn off and turn on thing. I don't have a switch. What's so complicated? You don't love the man and you're not happy. And Nina is like, I'm pregnant. And Sean is like, I thought he couldn't. And Nina is like, it's not his. And then we see the ladies walking on the set, and Leon is collecting the phones. And Mo is like, no, I'm going to need mine another minute. She keeping her phone. And she's like, have a good show, Maxine. Don't let anything throw you. And then Mo ends up showing her the medical records and the pictures to Maxine. And she like, you going to call the police? You're going to lose a lot of credibility when the truth comes out about all this nipping and tucking you've been doing to be naturally youthful in appearance. And then we're on stage, and there's a little bit of tension between Max and Mo, and then the show has started, and then Max confesses to plastic surgery, sort of, kinda. She confesses to succumbing to the pressure and planning to have surgery, but luckily her body rejected the anesthesia and she was spared the unnecessary surgery. So now she can continue to age the way that she always has, naturally and gracefully. And that's exactly why she created the lunch hour, for honest talk. And she'll be here for you, the watching audience, 5 days a week. And then we see Sonny Boy Sean knocks on Nina's dressing room door. Her politician husband Andrew answers, and he and his wife Nina are about to go have lunch. And so it's kind of like a little tension, and then Nina is basically like, we'll talk Monday. Then we see Mo and Leon, and Mo is annoyed at Leon's incompetence because she has to supervise him now. And Ramona has been promoted back to the head production assistant. Leon is like, I don't really care, it's too much work anyway, I want to be a producer, I got ideas. And Mo is not really into his ideas. She don't really think he's all that smart, but she does want him into her. And then we see Heather and baby boy at home. It's nighttime, and the little boy says, Mom, can I have blush? And Heather is like, no, it's too late, it'll clog your pores. And her husband is like, do you hear you? And Heather is like, whatever. And the hubby is like, Black Nanny Aberline cartoons. And Aberline is like, are you sure? It's late. And the hubby is like, cartoons. And then Heather is like, get the book. And he gets the book, which is the Bible, and she gets the paddle. And then they switch, and then she reads the Bible and groans while he paddles her naughty behind. Oh my gosh! Daytime Divas! Then we see Max arriving home with flowers and champagne. The Latino doorman Hector takes them. Then the older black doorman William is like, Hector, if you handle the desk, I'll help her with this. I saw this coming. I knew where that was going. Then Max kisses William after chastising him for not being gentle enough with her lilies. And then we see Kibby outside of the club, and she's looking on her phone at an AA contact list. So we don't know if she chose the club or recovery. Then we see a blonde woman asking Hector if Maxine lives here. Hector, the doorman at Maxine's building. And Hector's like, we don't give out that type of info. And the woman is like, well, give her these flowers. And then she gives him $1, $2, $300 bills. And she's like, I just have one simple question. 1, 2, 3 simple questions. And then Hector takes the money. And we see a shot of the card on the flowers that says, from an old friend. That's what I got, Fabulous. Thank you for watching. Be you, be fabulous you. And it looks like rehearsal, I might be a couple minutes late. Peace.